When you're applying to become an orthodontist, it is a long process. It's a long process that is very taxing and it can be full of some challenges. Tell us, Doc, what has been the hardest, or what was the hardest part for you when you were applying to ortho? What was the hardest part for you?
Honestly, the hardest part for me was getting the whole application down. I applied twice. So like the first time I applied, I took some time trying to get everything together. I felt like looking back on it that I wasn't well orientated when I wanted to get it down and send it to my professors and get letters of recommendations. I ended up submitting it like at the end of July, which I don't recommend. Like the second time when I did it, I submitted it in like June, early May, late May, June, and that's what I recommend for people to do. So if you were able to get the application down and sent out, I think that's the biggest thing, and definitely save for finances because one thing I did better my second time around than the first time, I actually saved a lot of money. The first time I applied to like 7 schools, 10 to 7 schools, and I applied late, like end of July, mid-July. That's not good. The second time around, I applied early and I applied to 28 schools.
Ortho, becoming an orthodontist, the things that you have to do, some tips, strategies, all of those things are what we're going to talk about today. We're talking about a profession where people think of beautiful smiles and confidence and a lifestyle, all by becoming an orthodontist. Stay tuned as we talk to a resident who's going to share his experience so far in his residency program as a future board certified orthodontist. Stay tuned. Hey, this is Dr. Darwin, the new dentist coach, with another episode of Ask Dr. Darwin on the New Dentist Podcast Show, where we talk about getting into dental school, getting into residency, and then life as a new dentist. Guys, be sure you are continuing to share this content is created for you. Share it, comment on it, subscribe, tell us what you like, comment, and so that we can continue to bring this content to you. Also, this episode is being brought to you by getintodentalresidency.com, right down here below. Getintodentalresidency.com, the ultimate resource to help you get into the residency program of your dream this cycle. For more details, go to the link below, and we hope to see you in the training soon. Today we got a special guest. Man, it's been about a year, man, trying to get you on here. I know the ortho goddess is keeping you busy, you and your residents. But we're so glad we were able to carve out some time today. We're joined with Dr. Jefe. Dr. Jefe is here, y'all, and he's going to tell us all about his residency in orthodontics. He's going to share a little bit about why ortho for him, how he prepared for his application, schools that he applied to, why the interview day, how he put together his rank list and why he chose certain programs. He's going to talk about his current program, where he's at. He's going to reveal that and also talk more, some more insights into his specific program, which is going to be a key. So make sure that you are staying all the way through, because the information that he's going to share with you, you're not going to find on a lot of programs' websites. This is in-depth, in detail programs and resident procured information about a program. And he's also going to share some tips and advice for all of you that are listening that are going to be future board certified orthodontists. So Doc, man, good to have you, man. Welcome.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.
Yeah. So tell everybody a little bit more about yourself for those that are meeting you for the first time.
Okay. What's the deal, everybody? My name is Dr. Jefe. Some call me Jeff. I'm from the DMV area, Bowie to be specific. I graduated from University of Maryland Eastern Shore with a Bachelor of Science, Exercise Science, Kinesiology Department, and took my talents to Howard University, College of Dentistry, class of 2022. And now I'm a first-year orthodontic resident at UB. That's the University of Buffalo.
Yeah, I was going to say, let's let everybody know where UB is, because they may think it might be
Right, they might think
University
it's
of.
something.
You might
Yeah,
think
I'm
it's
with all the
University Bangkok or a University of Birmingham or something like that. No, he's in Buffalo, Buffalo, where the
yes.
temperatures
I,
are below zero
I'm
sometimes,
like,
right?
oh, you're in New York. You're in New York, and I'm like, yeah, I'm in Buffalo. And okay, we're gonna come visit you. I'm like, no, Buffalo. That's still like 7 hours from New York City.
Right,
So I'm by
right.
so actually.
Upstate New York, upstate New York. So let's dive in, man, because everyone has their different reasons why they pick a residency program or even dentistry, but more specifically, ortho. Why ortho for you? Why'd you pick ortho?
And why I picked ortho is kind of like the basic generic why most people pick it. Mine's what happened to me as I was growing up. I was a little kid playing football outside, and then before I even played football, my teeth was terrible. I used to never like smiling. I used to smile like this. And I was playing football one day, and then I was running for the ball, and then I collided with somebody. My front tooth fell out, and just it was just a tiny chip left of it. And already about that, I was insecure about my teeth. I had a big diastema, overjet, an overbite. It was just it looked terrible. So after that incident, my mom took me to the dentist, got me a crown, and then from there I got braces, and I had braces for 6 years. And throughout that whole process, when I had braces, I was like the happiest kid. Like, oh yes, I have braces. I can't wait. I always think about the long term. And then when I got off, when they came off, couldn't tell me nothing. I started speaking to people more, started smiling more, doing presentations. So like I just became the man that I wanted to become, and I'm still growing. But braces was a definite big factor in that. So it was
Yeah,
for personal.
sound like it changed your life a little bit. It's life
It definitely
changing.
did.
Yeah,
It's funny because I'm looking over here at your screen and I'm looking at my screen too. So yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Ortho, everyone has that unique story, right? And
Mm-hmm.
for those of you that are listening and watching that are getting ready to put together your application for ortho, you've got to make sure you tell your story, right? Your
Yes.
story is unique to you, right? Don't worry about what other people are writing in their personal statement. You've got to share why ortho for you. And most, if not everyone, has a very has a very unique and interesting story, just like Dr. Jefe. So part of that story you have to put into a personal statement, like we said, which is part of your application. Tell us a little bit about how you went about putting together this full application, because we know for some people, well, for most people, it's not something you're going to be doing just overnight or over a period of 1 month, right? So tell us a little bit about how you prepared for and put together your application for ortho for both cycles, right? Because you did it
I was
in
actually
two
about, I was
cycles.
about to actually on that. I was actually about to touch on that. So actually, when I was applying for dental school, I just said the story I told you about how I got my tooth knocked out, and that's the story I told for dental school. So when I wanted to do ortho, I started to get them more in detail. So I told a little bit about that, but I didn't really focus on that. I really focused on what I did in dental school, on how I wanted to become an orthodontist and get into ortho. So I spoke about as soon as I got there, I started doing research because I know research is like a big thing. So I started talking about doing research since I was a D1. And then over the summertime, I was shadow orthodontist. I know basically everybody talks about this stuff, but it's good when you have things to back it up. So I spoke about that, and I put the best paper I can, but then I gave it to people that were very good in English and writing to make it look better and enhance it. So I think everyone should do that because English wasn't my strong suit, like writing papers. But if you have a close friend or a family member that can do that well and he can write better than you, yeah, definitely give it to them because that's something that I did.
Yeah, that's big, man. And that's big. And again, for those of you that are watching and listening, it's okay to ask for help. You got to
Hmm.
ask for help.
But you're not gonna be
Again,
good
you
at
get
everything.
no, no, because
Yeah.
if that was the case, you'd be an orthodontist already. You'd be a dentist already. So, it's
Hmm.
part of the process. Part of the process of learning is learning also to ask for help, to have other people support you, mentors, and mentors don't have to be dentists already. They could be, colleagues, classmates, someone who also is going to have a second eye, a second set of eyes on your document, like you mentioned. So some shadowing, you got some help with some proofreading and some edits for your application. um, and research. So,
hey, this is Dr. Darwin, your new dentist coach. Hey, look, it's residency time. It's residency application time. And the biggest question that a lot of people have is, how do I prepare my application? So look, if you're struggling in getting your information together, your CV, your personal statement, or you're ready but not prepared for your interviews, reach out to me ASAP, right? Through my group, Dental Residency Headquarters, we can help you. We can help you get ready for this residency cycle so that you're able to do this. We want you to match into residency cycle this year, all right? But you got some work to do. If you need some help with that application, shoot me an email at newdentistcoach@gmail.com, newdentistcoach@gmail.com. And through our program called Get Into Dental Residency, we can help you. We can help you, but you got to hurry up because residency application is right now. It's right now. So shoot me an email right now. All right, let's get back to this episode.
tell us a little bit about that research that you decided early on to do D1 year, because I talked to a lot of candidates over these last 8 to 10 years, and everybody's worried about, oh my God, Dr. Darwin, I didn't do research. I didn't do research. How important is research? It's important, but it's not everything. But tell us a little bit about how you got into doing the research that you did as early as D1 year, because that's important.
Yeah, so like anytime I like to do something, I like to just put my all into it. And I just knew research could have did something to differentiate me from the other people. So I always try to do something to stand out, to be popping. So that's what I did. Like I did a research every year. So what I did was get close. So I went to Howard. We have an ortho program at Howard. I always got close to one of the residents in that program. So I just hopped on one of their research, basically did the man labor of their research, and then they will present it to the faculty, and then I'll be able to have an opportunity to talk about it as well. So that was always a good thing. I always used the resource that was around me, try to get cool with them, and take some weight off their shoulder and do it. Like I'm in residency right now, so we have a lot going on. If I was able to find like a D4, D3, D1 that wants to do body of the work, I would love that. But not a lot of people want to do that. So when you find someone willing to do that, they'll gladly give it to you. So
So
we have like a research department, and I logged in with the lady, Dr. Gu, and I did a lot of research with her and with the undergrad department. So that's what I did. But it's not everything. It's something to differentiate yourself for, because when we talk about ortho, everyone has the high grades, everyone is shadowing. It's like, what are you doing different? So most people will have some type of research, but they won't have your research or the experience that you had doing it. So I just did something to stand out. That's really why I did it.
Very smart, very intentional, very strategic. So for those of you that are listening and watching, if you're at a dental school that has an ortho program, or you have a dental school that has some connections with a local ortho program, volunteer, right? The research team needs people.
Right there, they do.
I mean,
any
if
resident
it's
will be happy to give you that, like, oh yeah, do this, do this, do this. Sure.
be the volunteer virtual assistant.
Yep, absolutely.
Just to get that exposure and see what it's like. You may have some ideas that may come out of it, but most importantly, you now have something that you can talk about, not only in your personal statement, but also in your CV as well. Because guess what you're going to be doing as an ortho resident? Research, right? Research. So that's good. I think thanks for sharing that about research, because a lot of people, get hung up on it. And, programs realize that not everyone will have the opportunity to do research, and that's fine too. But if you do have the opportunity to do it, right? Do it. All right.
Most programs, they will want it published. So like not everyone's going to have it published, but if you have like a lot under your belt, something to talk about, like that's one thing to put in your application. But say you actually get that interview, you want to be able to elaborate on it and talk about it, because they definitely want to ask you about that.
Yes, absolutely. Well, they're also going to ask you sometimes in the interview they'll ask you what other programs, what other programs have you applied to? So before that you get that question, before you get that question at the interview, you've got to actually apply the program. So tell us about your mindset and the reasons you picked certain programs to apply to, and how you put together that process. Because, some people just think that, all right, I'm gonna apply to 30 programs, or wherever I get in, I'm gonna go. Yeah, that's a strategy. It's not maybe too strategic,
Yeah.
not too intentional, um, because you want to make sure that the program that you're going to is a program that you want to be at, and you want to make sure that you can contribute to the program as much as the program contributing to what you're looking for. So tell us a little bit about how you went about formulating your list of programs to apply to.
Definitely. So first and foremost, I just want everybody to know everybody's process is different. You are your own unique person, so don't ever try to compare yourself to somebody else. The way they got in ain't the way you're gonna get in. So just it's okay, it's calm. So about my actual process, like I applied twice. I graduated 2022, and then I got in 2023. So I was just trying to see what I did, what can I do different? What did I do wrong the first time when I applied? So I already told you I applied late, so I'm like, okay, let me stop doing that. I applied to 7 schools. People might think, oh, that's a lot, that's enough. No, you need to apply to a lot of schools. You need to apply to over 20. So I wasn't even playing no games. I saved up a lot of money, like almost 7,000, and I knew I was getting graduation money, and I was just gonna put that right through it. So I applied to 28 schools. So I do recommend a lot of people to apply to a high amount of schools. And what else do I want to tell you guys? Make sure you're intentional on the schools you pick, because some might be further, some might be close. You want to know where you want to live at. But for me, the way I did it is a lot of programs don't take a lot of people. It's like one, two, three, four. Four is like the magic number. One, two, three, four. So I was just trying to look for schools that apply to that were taking 4 and up. All I was trying to do, 4 and up. That's what I'm doing. I'm not about to gamble. It's a lot of money on the line. So I'm not about to gamble again. I'm not picking those schools that's taking 1 or 2 or 3 people, 4 and up. So I picked out my list and all the schools that's taking 4 and up, and that's really how I really did it.
Now,
Honestly.
were there any considerations related to whether the program you had to pay tuition or you received a stipend? Was that one of your qualifications as well?
No, my only qualification was getting in. I didn't really none of that concerned me as long as I got in, because a lot of other programs don't pay already. So the ones that do pay, you're blessed. Like your Bronx, you guys are blessed. So mine didn't pay. Some people get stipend, you're blessed. But majority of them don't get stipend, majority of them don't get paid, and that's okay. So my focus was just getting in. All I
Yeah.
wanted to do was
So would you also say that because of the number of schools, at least the first, if not the second time, it was over 20 schools, would you say that, is it safe to say that the location of where the programs were was not of major significance, meaning you were willing to go, whether it was Oregon, California, Texas, Florida, Iowa, Maine, you were willing to go wherever?
Yeah, so that's just me. I was willing to go everywhere, but also, like I told you, I grew up in the DMV. I grew up in the DMV. Went to high school, went to undergrad, went to dental school. So I've been home my whole life. So I didn't really mind moving somewhere else to get an experience. And the only 2 close schools in my area was Howard and University of Maryland. So if I didn't get into those two, it's okay.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, that helps people get an idea as to some things to look at. I think one of the take homes was looking at the programs and knowing how many residents they take every year, so that you can increase your chances. Now, 4+ it's a good number. Totally different than programs like the one in Georgia where they take, I think it's like 20
Yeah, I
people, the
didn't.
biggest ortho program in the country, right?
Yeah, like every long as you get in, that's what matters. I didn't want to go there because I don't know how that's possible. Like I like attention, especially when it comes to academics, So I
Yeah.
don't know taking over people, how much are you going to be focused on me? And if I have questions, if I have because learning biomechanics and ortho is already a struggle. Imagine with what 50, 40 residents
Yeah,
with
it's a
each his
lot.
own.
It can be a lot. So, quick tip for those that are listening and watching, and if you guys are finding some value of what Dr. Jefe and I are talking about, put a comment in the chat and just say yes, good information. Yes, good information. Because you have to keep in mind, everyone will have a different approach to how they select their programs. But it's very important that you have some criteria for yourself because at the end of the day, when you get accepted, you've got to go to that program and you want to make sure it's a program where you see yourself being supported. Because it's one thing to get accepted and matched. The second thing is making sure that you have the support you need to get through those 2 years or through those 28 months or through those 36 months, 3-year programs. That's going to be key. So make sure that you have some criteria, some things that you're looking for in a program as you are looking and searching and procuring your list of programs to apply to. That's going to be key as well. Well, after you apply to programs, you sit around and wait until you get some invitations, right? So the second time that you applied, do you remember how many interviews did you get in invitations to? And what were those schools? And tell us a little bit about the interview day as well, or
Yeah,
interview
so like
days.
yes, okay. So like the second time I applied to 28 schools and I only got one interview. So I knew this was game time, like showtime, gotta show out. I only got one interview, so I prepared that whole month for that interview. Things I did that, these are some good notes to take. I knew that whole school inside and out. I knew the director, I knew where she was from, I knew her hobbies, I knew everything. I researched her, looked her up. I knew all of the residents from first year, second year, third year, knew everything about them. They won a lot of awards, like the second and third years, knew all about that. So I knew I had to go in there very intentional, talking highly about the school. And actually, when you start doing research about something, like I'm an alpha. I became an alpha in fall 12. When I started doing my research about alpha, I started to love it. One of my mentors was his name is Jacques. He was an alpha, so I'm like, okay, like this is cool. So when I started doing my research about it, I actually liked the fraternity. So that's what happened to me about Buffalo. I got an interview. They see something great in me. So I looked it up and I actually started to really, really like the school and everything about it. So my thing is you should go in there knowing everything. Nothing should be a surprise to you. You know your own application. So you should be testing yourself like you're taking an exam. Like what type of flaws are they going to find in my application that they're going to ask? And you should have an answer for that. Nothing they throw at you should be a surprise. You should just have everything just target at it. So like I just came in there like it was game time. Make sure I had a nice suit, everything was fitted to the T, nice sharp haircut, and you stand there back straight, walk tall, and you're gonna stand out. You're gonna stand out, especially us men. You know you're gonna do your thing. When you come in there, you know what you want. So I came in there hunting. I came in there with a mission. Like people were in the interview program trying to be friends and talk. Yeah, I kept it casual, but I was really targeting all of the residents because and it was smart that I actually did that because now I'm a resident. I'm looking at other people and residents like that. You need to go there and talk to all the residents because you never know if they have vote and say. You never do. You never know that. So it's always good to be vocal and speak. Even if you're an introvert, you want to hop out your shell. This is the time to hop out your shell. So like the social was great in the social, I made sure I spoke to all of the residents and really got to like tone in and say everything positive. And I told them everything that I knew of them too, and they was really impressed about that. So when it came to the actual interview, like on my year off, because I graduated 2022, but I got into on 23. So I had a year off. I was working at NIH and I was doing research there as a general dentist. So I was doing research there, working in Dr. Caruso's office, and the research didn't go all the way because I got into ortho. But working there, I was talking about how we was working on doing a rehabilitation on a mouse. and they was really impressed by that. And they said, why did you pick to go this route instead of going to a GPR or AGD? And it's like I told you, the love for ortho. I know this would be more impressive than going to doing a GPR or AGD. Not saying those that are doing it isn't right, but I just know this is more ortho based. So everything I did was towards ortho. So it was no stipulation of, oh, you changed your mind, this, that. No, I didn't get in the first time, and I'm applying game. I'm applying that pressure to you. So orthos are everything I always wanted to be since day one in dental school. I could never see myself cutting a crown and putting the implants in, so
Yeah.
I'm happy they ended up taking me, and they really loved my enthusiasm, everything I had to say. And and I got in.
Yeah,
So
very intentional. Very intentional.
I really want to
That
tell you. Yeah, you have to be
that
intentional for what you want. Like that's really important.
very
People be
yes.
wishy-washy. Once you what you want, you got to go get it because nothing is guaranteed. You got to play for keeps.
Nope.
So like when I finally got in, they was all telling me how everybody the way we ranked them, and they had me circled. They was like, you just stood out amongst them all, and I was just really
Yes,
happy
good.
about that.
That's great. That's great. Now, you talked about they were impressed with your interview. Were there questions? Because I already know that you were prepared from A to Z and Z to A. Were there any questions that were maybe unusual or questions that you were like, that's a good one? How was that part? How was the question and answer part of that interview day for you?
Honestly, when it comes to the interviews, like everything that you think they're gonna ask, they're really gonna ask you that. They're really gonna ask you that. So some of the basics, like why this school? Do you want to move to Buffalo? But when it came to my interview, they really honed in on like why did I pick to do a research on my gap year, then going to AGD or GPR program. So they honed in on that and they spoke a lot about my research. So my interview was mostly on that. But one unique question I thought was good. They asked me, do you think your grades reflect who you are till today? So like I had a 3.6 GPA, and ortho, like that's not even good enough. Everybody got 3.9, 4.0, 3.999. And I told them, man, that's just a number. That doesn't describe me. What really describes me is the actions I'm gonna put towards getting into the program and being in the program. And I can only show you through my
Yes. Yes.
when you walked away like and dropped the mic, I felt like that moment. Like so it was calm.
Yeah, that's key, man. That's key. Another great topic or subtopic like research is grades. Everybody's worried about my grades, my grades. I don't know if I have good enough grades. Well,
Yeah,
guess
there's
what?
another
You
thing
it
that
Yeah, go ahead.
I did the GRE. I did the GRE because I knew my grades were I had 3.6 and like it's decent. I don't know if it's decent enough for ortho. Everything in ortho is like it's crazy. It's so competitive. And that's
Yeah.
why I emphasize on doing things to make you stand out because everyone really has the same GPA or higher. So like someone is always higher. It's just so competitive. It's actually one of the most, if not the most competitive, because you got oral surgery, but not everybody wants to go to school 6 more years. So then what's right after oral surgery is ortho. So, you know, um, so yeah, one thing I did was the GRE. Some people didn't do that. I know some programs are requiring it now. Like this program didn't require it, but I made sure I had a very high score on the GRE so it can like, okay, he had 3.6, but then oh his GRE scores is high. So I
Now,
was able to
now,
collaborate.
now, now you mentioned the GRE, and I'm great that I appreciate you mentioning that because, like you said, not all programs, ortho programs require it. Some may say optional.
Mhm.
And I've had former residents do the same for pedo, where they didn't necessarily have to take the GRE or the ADAT, but they did anyway to demonstrate their willingness and the ability to do and go above and beyond what's required.
And that's something else I didn't do the first time. So this is something I did on the second time.
The
Everything I
second
did,
time.
it
Yep.
was like I was just applying more pressure and adding to like what can I do differently and what did I did wrong. And I wrote those do's and nots and just executed it after that.
Now, do you feel that taking the GRE the second time enhanced your candidacy
I
as
wouldn't
far
say
as, I mean,
so, but
is Buffalo, does Buffalo require GRE or no?
they don't require that.
Okay. But did
But
they
like
mention
I
it
was
to
doing
you
everything I
in your application? I mean, did they mention it to you in the interview? Hey, we saw you took the GRE.
can. So
They
yeah, they
did.
mentioned it in my interview. So that was another thing I can talk about and elaborate, especially that I did good on it. So
Yeah. Yeah. And with that, with taking the GRE, did you prepare? Did you do a prep course? How did you prepare for that?
I didn't really do it. I didn't do no prep course. I took it when like COVID and stuff was going on, so I had time. So it was, during that time was a unique period. So I was able to take it and yeah.
So you took it before you graduated in 20.
So I took it and then I graduated, but then I didn't put those scores on it because I was like, I know I can do better. And then I took it again.
All right. So you
But
took the GRE 2 times, and the second time is the time that you posted and shared the scores. I
exactly,
got
yep.
you. I got you.
Mm.
I got you.
Studying base and preparation was during COVID because I had so much time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's great. Well, again, great question in the interview. You know, uh, do your grades reflect who you are today? And it sounded like you had a great answer. Grades are just a number, but I am a name. I am a person. I am not my grades. You know, and like you said, there's always going to be someone that scores point two, point three, point five higher, right? There's always going to be someone that's going to be 4.2. But
Right.
one thing that the boards do not ask for is your grades. When you take that board exam, they're not asking you whether or not you have a 3.6 or higher GPA, nor do patients. Patients
Exactly.
not saying, "Hey, Dr. Jefe, oh, nice to meet you. Oh yeah, by the way, uh, did you have a 4.0 in dental school?" They're
Right.
not asking
And
that.
when you're in the high threes, mid threes, that's not even bad. It's just the profession, the specialty that you're going into, like that requires that. But that doesn't mean nothing. Like no one is
Yeah,
saying like that's still very good. 3.6, 3.7, whatever,
yeah.
3.5. It's still really good. It's just what they deem as what it is to get inside. And as
So if you guys get that question in your interviews, be prepared to answer it, but also be prepared to with the understanding that you are not your grades. Your grades are only a mere one one of 5 or 6 different things that compose you as an individual. There's other things that you can do to enhance your candidacy, including GRE, ADAT, taking both of those exams, research, shadowing, and other things that you can include in your personal statement that will that can circumvent your grades, at least to the point of things that are also allow you to stand out beyond just your grades as well. So 28 programs, one interview, and keep in mind, you only need one yes.
you only need one guess, because
You only need one yes.
yeah, Doc, because even in that interview, I had people that was coming in bragging, like, oh, I got 8 interviews, I got 4, I got 5, I got 7. Everybody was talking. I was like, yeah, I got 3 and stuff. But it's when I see them today, and no shade on them, like some didn't even get in. Like till today, they still trying to get in. I knew at least 3 people. One girl had 7, another dude got 8, another one had 4. They didn't get into none. And they were in the whole interview process with me, and now they're still trying to get in. And I got in by God's grace, and I definitely wish the best for them. But I just say that to say it doesn't matter about how much interviews you get into. You're supposed to treat everyone like it's game time, supposed to show up. They
That's
probably didn't
right.
treat it like, oh, I got more, whatever. No, you're supposed to give everyone the same amount of effort, and you need to go in there and kill it.
Yeah.
And
And that's
I'm just
key. I'm
happy
glad you said that. You got to be prepared. You got to show up. Guys, do not think that doing this process, preparing for your interviews, when you get those invitations, that you should be doing it by yourself. It takes a village
Yeah, no,
to go through
exactly.
this process. It takes a village, whether it's another colleague who maybe is applying for other residency, or it could be ortho in itself practicing, making sure that you know what the questions are, looking at yourself to make sure that you're presenting yourself and you're presentable and you're holding a conversation and you can talk off topic but get back on topic. All of that are things that you still have to practice and master. All right.
Yes.
Don't try to wing it.
Doc, like even a special shout out. Like I thought I had everything in order because I was going through all the type of questions they might ask and saying it. And then one of my great mentors, Dr. Davis, and from Howard University College of Dentistry, he's an endodontist. He called me up and we got on the phone. He started asking me questions. I was a little bit fumbling a little bit, like, now you got to tighten that up. And he came with his own questions. And he said, all right, I'm going to quiz you this again tomorrow. Be prepared. So me and Dr. Davis went back and forth, back and forth. He was asking me questions like it was a real thing. So I would say you have a mentor or a close faculty member at your school to ask you questions, because they ask people questions all the time to get into dental school. So they're a great
Right.
person to ask questions.
Yeah.
So me and Dr. Davis, we sat down and went through it. And yeah, I love that, man. Thank you, Dr. Davis. Appreciate
Shout
you.
out to Dr. Davis, HU Endo. He's one of those endodontists at HU that you gotta go confront if you trying to get out of
Yeah.
you trying to get graduate.
Yes, sir. He's a real one. He's a real one. He's a great man.
He's a real one. So shout out to Dr. Davis. And listen, if you guys don't have a Dr. Davis at your school and you're looking for some help, go up to this website, this link right here. Get into dentalresidency.com. This is a place where you can get some help when you get those invitations to interview. We help you go through mock interview sessions. We tell you about the list of questions to expect. We help you procure a list of questions that you must ask. Yes, you must ask questions, and also how to follow up. So go to this link up top if you want to get some more information about that. So after the interview, you got some of the sweetest news back in November when you got your acceptance and you matched. You did this. You matched, right?
Yes, sir.
Tell us a little bit about this program that you're at now. Tell us where you're at. Tell us a little bit more details about the program. And this will be a plus for those of you that are listening and watching. Again, Dr. Jefe is going to share with you a little bit more in-depth details about his program, because lots of times you won't get this in-depth information just looking on the website. You have to have insight via a resident that's there. You have to know somebody that's there, maybe that's applied there, that maybe had an interview. Dr. Jefe is about to give you that information. So take notes, pause,
Yes.
go back, listen to it, and repeat. So tell us about this program that you're at Buffalo. Tell us about if it's a tuition base, stipend base, how much you're paying, how much you're getting paid, what a typical day is like, why you picked Buffalo as well, and just what the environment is like at this program.
Right. And then before I even get into that, I also want to thank you too, Coach, because when I was preparing for my interview, I used to go through all Coach's videos and watch all of the ortho videos. I literally watched all of them. And it's great because you really learn a lot of cool tips and tricks about it. So like I remember he had this one great segment, and I forgot, I think you were interviewing the dean in Ohio, and he just said a lot of
Dr.
great
Stewart, Kelton Stewart at
And I was
University
so
of
mad. I wish I
Indiana.
watched the video. I wish I watched that segment before I applied. I already applied. I said, man, I should have applied to that school. So like, please go check out all coaches' videos. They're very, very helpful and very insightful, especially if you're in this cycle coming up. Like, definitely do that.
Yeah, I appreciate it, man. So Buffalo, tell us about the program, about why you picked it, what things you liked about it when you were being intentional and preparing for your interview. Tell us about, the financial aspect of it, whether it's a stipend based or you have to pay tuition, typical day. Let's get into that.
Yeah, so like a typical day at Buffalo's ortho program is in the morning we have class. A typical class is like where we're going through our cases or someone is presenting the case. So that's like every Monday. Then on Tuesday, we still take classes. So first years, we're lucky, so because we're also a master's program, so we're required to get a master's. That's why it's a 3-year program. So sometimes we have our master classes on Tuesdays and Mondays, and then also on Wednesdays. But all of this is in the morning, besides on Wednesdays. Wednesdays we also have it in the morning and the afternoon. On Thursdays we do this special class and where we present a full case head to toe. My first year in the fall, none of the first years presented. We all watched the second and third years how they did it, and then this spring semester we had to do it. I just did mine last week. Last week was pretty hectic, and I did fairly well, so I was happy about that. So that happens on Thursdays, and then Fridays we have a half day. So basically every morning we're presenting cases or we having class from 8 to 9, and then from 9 to 4 we're in clinic all day. So like we're very clinic based, but we're academia, so we don't get paid. Nothing we do, we get paid. But one thing about, and we don't get no stipends either. But good thing about Buffalo is a cheap area, so everything is very cheap. The tuition is cheap. If you're even
So
interested, I think you
so
guys
wait a
get
minute. So wait a
nine.
minute. You say
I think
tuition is cheap in comparison
yes,
to what?
to other ortho programs, it's cheap compared to other ortho. It's not
So
it's one of the cheapest or the cheapest when it comes to ortho programs, and that doesn't say for the school. It's just because of the area they're in Buffalo. So that's why.
so share with us what that tuition amount is, because people who are applying have no idea, because they don't, I mean, they're coming from dental school where tuition is
Crazy.
close to 100 every year. So um is it, it may be cheaper than that, or just give us that number if you can
So
share, because people don't
I
know.
think
They don't know.
right now I think it's changing. Like it might have went up, but I know it was 39 and then it was 56. So, but now I became a New Yorker because you got to be here for 1 year. So I think I paid like 56, I believe. But yeah, it gets lesser once you become a New Yorker at the state. But it is, if you put them compared to any other ortho programs, is one of the cheapest ones. So that definitely went into a factor, and I was very happy about that. So definitely look into that because we already have a lot of loans from dental school. When you specialize in, you got to like start watching it because you can't cap out. And I'm just happy that that hasn't happened to me yet.
Yeah. What would you say you like most about the program that you've been in, since you've been in it these last 2 years? What are some of the highlights, some of the strengths, the things that you like most?
What I like most, honestly, I love the people. The people in Buffalo are great, and my professors, everyone is such hands-on. Like, especially coming from like Howard. Howard was a great school too, but Howard really teaches you to be an owner, to own everything, and do. You have to do a lot of things yourself. They will assist you, but nothing's really handed to you. You have to earn it. Here, they take care of us more. I would definitely say they take care of us more. They're very attentive. They appreciate all of us. So it's an amazing program. I couldn't ask for nothing better. Like if anything, if you're already a good presenter, you'll be like golden. So like most things that we do, we present a lot of our cases and we go through it. And I just love that period. We have like a journal club where we pick an article off ABO and then we present that article. So everything is like really intentional in learning. Of course, you gotta do some own learning on yourself, but we have a big system. You know how people have big brother, little brother. We have a big, like I'm a first year, and then my big is a second year, her big is a third year, and we really lean on our bigs for a lot of our questions, and they're very like helpful. So I love the program. I really don't have nothing negative to say about it. I just have all positivity because not only the people that are right, I think I have a great class, and I'm in a good group. I'm Team Purple, and it's amazing. It's amazing. Like I can already see myself when I graduate. It's great.
Now, there sounds like there's a lot of things about the program that you like that are great, but not all programs have all 100% things that are great. Are there some things that, what has been some of the challenges? And it may not necessarily be the program, but it may be just you transitioning from dental school, working gap year, now going into ortho residency these last 2 years. What things have been the most challenging for you here at Buffalo?
Most One of the most challenging things is the snow. Like this snow is ridiculous. Like, so it's the snow and what else? The patients are pretty
But
good. Like we actually
but
get served
Doc,
out.
wait a minute. You said the snow, but you inside, Doc. You ain't doing ortho inside. I mean outside. You doing it inside. You should be good.
Yeah, but I'm from the DMV area, like DC, Maryland, Virginia. I'm from Prince George's County, so we always have a lot of it's lively. We have a lot of action. This area is not lively. It's not much to do. So if you get easily distracted, I don't get easily distracted. I can hone in when I need to, have fun when I want to be outside. But if you get easily distracted, this is perfect for you. But if you're a good balancer, it gets lonely over here. There's not much to do. You can really focus on your work. That's a great thing. But the people are very nice and very, very, very welcoming. So can't go wrong with that. But when it comes to things I really don't like, what can they improve on? Probably, yeah, shoveling that snow, man. Honestly, shoveling that snow.
Well, it sounds like you're not going to be staying in Buffalo too much longer after you finish the
No, but
program. So,
I'm Nigerian, so like this
yeah, you
snow
might be going to Florida or somewhere else, Texas, somewhere.
us.
I hear you, man. I hear you.
No,
Well,
Buffalo
listen.
is like it's amazing. I really don't have nothing to say, and we have a new director too. So like she's a wonderful. Dr. El Jawar is just one of the best, if not the best director. So she's chair now as well. So shout out to her.
Yeah, new shout out to the program director. And that's key. Program director and the faculty, in addition to your co-residents and the residents that are the years that you before you get there, all are going to be key. Make sure that you are taking heed and paying attention to those relations when you are researching the program and doing your interviews. All very important things that you want to look at, not only when you're selecting programs to apply to, but also when you're coming up uh, in October and early November and putting together your rank list for those ortho programs. So listen, what's also important is for people to get some tips and some advice based on your experiences and both through your application phase, but also your experiences in the second of 3 years of your current ortho program at University of Buffalo. Knowing what you know now and what you've experienced, the 2 cycles that got you to Buffalo and the 2 years that you've been there with 1 more year to go, what are some tips and advice you have for future applicants and candidates? And we're talking about people that are listening and watching right now that are getting ready to apply to ortho. What
Yep.
are 3 or 4 or 5 things that you want to tell them that they must know right now?
Apply early. Be very intentional. Apply early. Apply to a lot of schools. Whatever interviews you get, you want to take it very serious. Everyone's like game day. Everyone you want to take it very serious. Like this is the only one you got because that's what matters. It's about getting in, not how much you have, but getting in. All you need is one. So know that, and you'll be good. But when it comes to the actual program, it's great to read Profit. That's a great book to read. If you read that ahead of time, um, you'll be golden. They already tell us to read ahead of time. So if you even start talking about that in an interview, they're like, how you know that? So like read Profit. Profit is good. Know a little bit about some biomechanics. And when I say this, you don't need to go research. You can just YouTube it, honestly. Like YouTube it and you can talk about that in your interview. Know that, do that. Save up your money for your application process. Apply very early. Getting them letter of recommendations are always a hassle to get. So just have it already done and try to submit early June. Early June, have it all in. And that's what I did my second round. I think I submitted it around like June 5th, June 7th, something like that. So have it all done. Actually, I lied. It was actually June 1st. I submitted it June 1st. Have it done in June. Like if you can get it done by the end of May, that's great. But nothing past like June 15th. Let that be in. So
What else? What
um
else? That's some great ones. Anything else you can think of? Tips, advice for candidates? What else?
and
Anything else?
honestly, pray. and I mean this. I know everybody will say this, but truly pray, because all of this is by God's grace, and God's plan is the best plan. Like, pray, get closer with God, and like let him, like, say, God, take control. I'm gonna do my part, and I pray that my part lines up with your part. And wherever you want to take me, I'm willing to go there. And he's gonna take you there. Like, really, like, dive into that and build a relationship with God, because I can give you all the advice I want. Someone else can do it, but if it's not in God's plan, it's not gonna work. So, like, please be very intentional with God and connecting with Him, and whatever God you deem as God. So, like, I think God really played a process of mine. He was the reason I got in. It was no other reason. It was God.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm telling the audience that holding into God and get, because you're gonna need Him. You need Him to get in, and you're still gonna need Him in ortho. Like, ortho, yeah, afterwards it's sweet. It's a great holistic lifestyle. It's beautiful, and you get paid
Yeah.
out on top of that, and having the pleasure to do what you love and fix teeth. Like, you really get to build someone's confidence, literally building it. You're seeing them gain more confidence as the process goes. But that journey to getting that, is tough.
Yeah.
You know,
Well, it's a
really.
process, just like dental school,
No,
same
no,
thing with
no, not like
residency. You get in.
not like
Well, I'm saying like dental school, it's hard to get in. And
yes,
once you get in, it's great, but that's the easy part. Now you got to get through. And you need
mm-hmm.
prayer, you need covering, you need support, all of that for all of these processes, especially for ortho
And the only reason why I said it, I like dental school, because you're literally learning a whole new language, and that's the only
absolutely.
reason. You definitely, that energy you had in dental school, you definitely still got to bring it here, because you learn a whole new language. The teeth are even different. That
Yeah.
that nervous system is
Yeah.
so, like, you're literally learning a whole new language. So everything, you're just like a super dentist, basically. So yes, you need to know that information as a general dentist, but coming in here, all of that stuff, you learn something completely different. So yeah, you're gonna need God, man. So, like,
Yeah.
I'm always gonna be an advocate that, like, I'm a strong Christian, and He got me where I wanted to be, and He's still here with me, and I pray He's gonna be there for you too. Just reach out to Him.
That's great. 7 great tips, man. Pray, apply early, make sure you prepare for the interview and take it seriously, because that is your last chance, last opportunity for you to tell them why they must select you. Read the Prophet book, and if you guys don't know what Prophet is, ooh, you in trouble trying to be an orthodontist and you don't know the name Prophet. Ooh, Google it beforehand. Know some fourth thing, know some biomechanics, right? Beforehand, if you can, so you can have something to talk about. Also, save money, because the application process is long and it's expensive. It's an investment, right? Next thing is making sure you have your letters of recommendations done early. Request the recommenders at least a month or two before you want them to have it submitted, so you have it done. Very important. 7 important tips to succeed, not only as an ortho candidate, an applicant, but also to help you get into orthodontics. Doc, what's the best way for people to contact you if they have some additional questions about your journey and what you're doing right now?
You can hit me up on my Instagram. It's open. Teeth and Smiles. Teeth, TEETH, the letter N, and Smiles. You don't see me there. You just DM me, and I got you. I'll respond quickly. See you
right up there at Teeth and Smiles. Check out Dr. Jefe. And brother, hey man, excited for you. Happy for you. Was excited way back when you first got into almost 2 years ago.
We've been trying to do. Yeah, the funny thing about Coach, like, I don't. Wow, years ago. They're like, hey, Coach, I'm trying to go into ortho. You have any suggestions for me? And he was always so helpful. So, like, yeah, shout out to Coach, and please watch all his videos, because his videos helped me, and it helped me, like, throughout my process, and I know it can help you as well.
Yeah, man. Well, again, no lies spoken. I have heard no lies. These videos are can be life-changing for many of us, right? So watch those videos and implement the tips and the advice similar to what Dr. Jefe just shared with us. Get those tips and advice into action. You got to do them, right? You got to do them so that you get the result that you're looking for. Check out Dr. Jefe at an Instagram and Teeth and Smiles. And Doc, again, super proud of you, very happy about your progress. We got one more year to go, and I'm sure we're going to be talking soon when you finish up and on to the next bigger and great thing. Still love you, man, even though you're an alpha. It's okay. It's okay. I got some of my best friends are alphas. I don't know why they still my best friends, but it's okay. So you one of them. So shout out to the alphas and the omegas. You know, y'all started it and we bringing it in. But in all seriousness, man, great journey. Keep up the great work, man. And we want everybody else to keep watching. So go to the next video. Your next assignment is go to the next video. Go to the next video right now. Go. Love, peace, and smiles. Go to the next video. Go to the next video.